Cleo Parker Robinson is a fixture in Denver's cultural scene. For 50 years, she's united communities and shared her love of dance with the world. Awarded many times over and recognized by presidents, artists, and world leaders, it's time we all come together to celebrate the one and only Cleo Parker Robinson.
Cleo, thank you so much for joining us this morning on Colorado and Company. You're such a big inspiration in the Denver and Colorado community. So I wanted to start off by asking you, what's fueling you today, especially through COVID and everything that's going on?
Well, I think with so much going on, what fuels me is our 50th anniversary. In spite of all of the things that we don't have control over, the 50th is here, and we're doing everything we can to really celebrate this extraordinary time for us, but also all of our wonderful partners. So thank you. Thank you for celebrating in the way that we can.
Of course, 50 is such an incredible number to celebrate. You guys have done so much in the 50 years that you have been open and been a part of the Colorado community. So how has your attitudes in Colorado really changed over your tenure as a cultural leader?
I don't know how much time we have, but the attitudes have changed quite a bit. I think being in our shorter AME church that we took over and began renovating that into our theater and our academy and our offices, it's taken this long to build it. And we're now talking about building an annex because we've never had a new home for the dancers and for the professional company. But I think people have become more aware of how rich our cultures are, and because they have experiences in the theater, they are able to come and take classes together. And this is intergenerational and also with different cultures. Like right now, we're in the middle of our International Summer Dance Institute, which is where we start teaching children at the age of 3 their own culture and cultures from around the world. And I think that's changed a lot of attitudes. And so I feel like we have a village.
I'm curious too, Cleo, was there ever a time in your life when you maybe questioned your direction or wondered if you should be doing something else? Or have you always found that this is your true direction in life?
Well, I'd like to say I never questioned it, but I would be not telling the truth. I actually studied psychology. I was a psychology major. And thank God it's come in handy trying to figure out our mental state in all of this. It helps me a little bit. But I was in child psychology, so it helped me with my school. It was wonderful because I could really understand how children are so important in our lives. And I love teaching the children. I don't teach them like I did then. But I always wondered if the arts were important in people's lives. And because we had to grow from such a small grassroots place when we started in Denver at 5 Points. And so people didn't really come to the theater then, and they didn't pay for dance classes, and we had to really educate. So I wasn't sure that I was doing the right thing because I had I was a teacher and I taught in the public schools in Denver where I was a product of it. And I thought, well, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna teach in the public schools. But I love dance, and I couldn't stop moving. And so I thought, well, I want to teach with a little more freedom and structure. So I was able to create my own school and my own academy and integrate all of the disciplines and the arts. Dance is math and it's science and it's music and it's drama, and I can teach it all in one class.
How are you guys doing with the dance company right now through all of this? Do you feel like it's just as healing, especially now through these tough times?
Well, I think we are discovering new ways of connecting. I think it's been very difficult mentally. Our art form is about bodies together and creating together. We're not just like stone sculpture. We are living, breathing, emotional, and bright and brilliant, and we're athletes, and we're used to really coming together, and we also are used to an audience responding to us and feeling the vibration of what an audience does. So feeling an audience on a screen and then through Zoom and then so many layers to discover the heart. So it's more difficult. It is, I will not even, I won't tell you how challenging it's been.
And then quickly too, do you have a message for any of the young people of color in Colorado? Anything you want to tell them during this time?
Well, you know what? When we worked with the Messiah, we brought them from Kenya, from actually the bush, and we worked with them there. We brought them to Denver. They've never been on a plane. They've never been out of their entire community. They said the sky's the limit, and I think here they were with so little. They didn't have cell phones and telephones and cars and all of those things. But they knew the sky was the limit. And I think that's for all of us to know, that when you marry your passion and you connect with others in that wonderful place of, I guess, unity, there's nothing you can't accomplish. But we have a lot of challenges, and you have to be ready to work. You have to work, and you have to believe it so much that you can convince others of how valuable it is so they can support you. Because nobody does it alone.
Such an incredible, inspirational message from an amazing Colorado woman. Cleo, thank you so much for taking the time, and congratulations on celebrating 50 years.
Thank you, honey. Thank you for celebrating with us.
Such an amazing person. You can learn more about Cleo Parker Robinson and her dance company and academy at cleoparkerdance.org.
I hold my tongue so the silence between us can do all the talking, and our pride can do the listening of our hearts wanting to speak out but not have the proper veins to flow the words to our lungs. And our lungs cannot properly circulate the oxygen to our hearts that is once again listening to the silence of our egos and the curiosity of wondering if you're ever going to notice that my tongue is bleeding, because there are words that still haven't been said, and points that still haven't been viewed, and egos that haven't been judged, and pride that hasn't been skewed, leaving me to realize that I will never say what I have to, because I would have eventually swallowed my tongue and gave silence the invitation to take over my parts of speech. Then you will come days later asking why I never said anything, and I will say nothing because again, I am letting my heart listen and the silence speak.
Growing up, I did live in inner city neighborhoods, and I did live in, the urban areas as they call them, and being a black male in society who also is a dancer, I am still the stereotype, so it's hard for me sometimes to relate only because it is so real for me. It is my real life situation, and so I have to sometimes take my personalized self out of it and think about what message am I conveying and how will this strengthen our people, how will this give them some insight, some hope, some joy. And so it's hard to look at it right away in the face, but in the end I know that it's for a bigger and better cause.
In this time, I know it's kind of chaotic and it's a little bit depressing for some people. Some people love it. Actually, they kind of like to be to themselves. But for me personally, it's kind of been hard. So I've been trying to live in my truth and trying to really move my body. This is my language. And so if I continue to motivate myself and feel my body, then I feel like I can encourage myself to keep going for the day on day and just not worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow.
I also think what comes with living your truth is also finding something new and fresh. So if you are, at home, if you are a little bored, if you are a little anxious, if you are a little, scared, whatever may be happening, take some time for yourself and find something new, creative, innovative. I know the company has been working a lot, like a lot of people via Zoom and Instagram video and all these new technological ways that we're doing during 2020. But during those times also just trying to find something new about myself. I've been doing a lot of other artistic things, a lot of other practices, some yoga, some centering. So just take time also remember for yourself and to find different ways to express.
And you are human. Remember that. You are human, so it's okay.
Woo!
Yay!